meh. So Weapons was a movie that came out this year, and it was directed by some guy called Zach Cregger. So in this film, you basically have like a girl at the start narrating, saying almost as if like this has already happened, or just rewatching the events of it. And you're basically seeing these kids one night just end up leaving the houses, running like they've been watching Naruto, which I thought was kind of funny in a way. And you find out all the kids that left were all from one class, and the class was taught by like some blonde hair woman. So now all the parents are kind of like pouring all their anger and attention towards the school as well as the blonde hair teacher. So this movie literally is basically focused from start to finish of trying to find out where the kids are, what happened to them, you know, what happened in general, because they basically ran out their houses, you know what I mean? And it's just like everyone's just thinking like what's going on, man? I can't remember any of the characters' names. I'm not even gonna lie to you, so I'm just gonna refer to them based on how they looked. I can't lie to you, I heard a lot of hype about this film, and I'll be honest, I don't understand the hype. Simple as that, honestly, for me personally. I don't understand what the hype is about. This blonde hair teacher, who's the main character in this film, all her students were all, you know, disappeared. That was her class, or the students that disappeared. Only one guy that never disappeared, one kid in it. So now she's like kind of wondering like, what's going on? Why is this one kid the only one out of all of them that didn't, like, I guess, disappear? So she's just basically trying to figure out stuff while she's also still depressed and stuff, because she's been accused of all sorts of things. I can understand, because it's like naturally as a parent you're going to be directing your attention towards the teacher itself, because it's like you want answers in it, you want someone to blame, you know what I'm saying? So I do understand that. So if we get into the pros of this film, one thing I really loved about this film is how the camera worked. For example, you would have like the main character walking and you could see someone behind her in the background following her, because the way they implement it just gives you like an anxious feeling in a way, you know what I'm saying? It just makes it more intimidating rather than us not seeing the person behind them and just them jumping out behind, you know what I'm saying? They use camera works very effectively to create more pressure. I mean, I wasn't necessarily like anxious and stuff, but I do feel like it helped. You can tell visually, and based on the camera work I told you about, they did care, in my opinion, in trying to make a good movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell a lot, in my opinion. But I also feel like they implement scares in a way where it's not necessarily a jump scare. Something that happens in it where it's just kind of like, oh damn, like, I can't lie, I think it made me like jump for a second. I can't lie, I think I jumped or got a bit shook for a second, innit? But it wasn't like a jump scare though, which I thought was really good, because it was like an effective way of like implementing something where it didn't have to be the cliche jump scare. I definitely wouldn't say this is like a scary movie though. Like, it's far from a scary movie. I'd say this is more like a psychological thriller where emotions are at a high, characters are being broken bit by bit because no one knows what's going on, no one knows where the kids are. So it's just one of those things where delving deep into the characters and how they're feeling and what they're going through and their own personal struggles and their own personal lives. Almost having the horror aspect more on, sometimes more of like the side thing rather than the main thing, which in my opinion, I don't know if that's really a good thing. In my opinion, I don't think it works. Pretty much every actor in this movie was really good. I'm trying to think, I can't think of anyone right now who I thought was like a bad actor. I thought everyone portrayed like a very convincing and good role. However, if we're getting into the cons, I feel like what I mentioned before regarding the whole psychological thriller, where they focus a lot on the emotions of the characters, them being broke down based on the situations, but at the same time, I feel like it focuses a lot on personal lives, not even related to the kids or anything. For example, it might focus on drug misuse, relationship drama. With this film, the film is not running in chronological order. It happens in a way where you get each character's perspective on how things played out, what happened. In my opinion, I don't really like, if I'm being honest with you, because it just feels like the pacing kind of gets affected. The whole unorganized stuff for me personally just didn't work, honestly, because it's kind of like, can we just get to the point already? Like, why are we going backwards? Why are we focusing on this person? Why are we focusing on that person, this person? None of the focuses really mattered, other than the fact that it just gave you more hints towards what could have happened to the kids, but that was it. So I just feel like, why did we have to really see other people's perspectives just to find out what happened to the kids? I don't know, I just feel like that to me was just weak, in my opinion. It felt like a different movie at times because it was focusing on different things. And I'm watching it, I'm just thinking, hold on, am I still watching the same movie, or is this like a whole nother different romance or some whole nother drug misuse film or something? You know what I mean? I just personally didn't like that. The ending didn't really amount to anything worth dragging it out for. We waited the whole 2 hours just for the ending to be like, okay then. So was that it? Like, is that it? Like, in my opinion, it was overhyped, basically. It's very overhyped. I just don't think it was what it was portrayed to be in the media. I just didn't. I didn't leave this movie thinking it was a bad movie. I still don't think it's a bad movie. I just feel like it's one of the movies where it's like, what else was there that was interesting? But anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, comment down below to let me know what you thought about this, you know, movie, and anything I really missed that was important to talk about. If you thought it was overhyped like I did, or if you thought it was actually very good, one of the best horror movies you've ever seen, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. In a bit, man.